Aaron or someone else is going to come in. I'm not sure who's coming in first. And Colette and I will play this back and forth, and there are a number of entities looking forward to speaking. We have just an hour, so no one will speak for too long, but they're looking forward to it. My blessings and love to you. I am Aaron. I'm going to be here very briefly, just wanting to introduce you to the entity that was my father in that lifetime in which I was Nathaniel and Yeshua was born. So just those few words from me, and my beloved father will come in. My blessings and love. I do not need a name. I am not of this world, but of the multiverse. Although I am one of those who have taken birth at times in this world. In those early times, I was part of an ancient race, really a social memory complex, and occasionally individuated aspects of that race came onto the earth to help support the coming of light. You don't need to know much more about me. This is not about me. But it was a time on your earth where everything was in place to open more fully to the coming of light and the grounding of light. And the one that Yeshua was and all who supported him were all gathered and in agreement. About 100 years before Yeshua's coming, I took birth on the earth. Yes, I knew how to extend my life to many hundreds of years. That was part of what we learned and part of what we taught. Rejuvenation of the body and of the energy field. I came forth as a shepherd and a teacher to help support the learning of light conception, of healing, and many of these things. And also because I deeply believed that the simpler folks, the shepherds, who were not scholars, not caught up in ideas, but living a life truly caring for life, that they were very open to his coming and what his message would be. Sometime later, I turned to a beloved soul and friend who was presently incarnate as Aaron. At that point, that being was over 500 years old. And I said, "Are you willing to leave your body now and to come back as my son? Because I could use your help." And he said, "Yes." And so we left the lifetime of Aaron and took birth as my son, Nathaniel. Aaron has asked me to come and speak to you because he said his memories of Yeshua's birth are those of a child. He's asked me to share what I remember of that birth. So I will share it briefly. Who I am doesn't matter, only that I was a witness to this. And perhaps what I share will inspire you. This was what my whole life had been working toward. Teaching light conception, preparing the area around, geographically all around, where he would be born and to live. Preparing the ground to receive the light. Preparing the people to open their hearts to the light. We went, of course, to the area where he would be born, which was absolute magic to his actual coming into birth. There were vast light energies, and also there was strong dark energy that did not want to see him born. But he would be born. That we were certain. And he would be born as a carrier of light, which was all that was prepared for him, the way that was prepared. So as Nathaniel, as Aaron, has painted in the picture, we sat on that hillside. Perhaps it was even more magical for Nathaniel than for me. But this was the culmination of thousands of years of work. The physical manifestation of a light coming through as a human onto this earth, and the grounding of that light. I remember that the sheep, they were so peaceful, not sleepy, not sluggish, looking around as if mesmerized, as if they could see the skies, which I did not think they could, but perhaps they could. There were stars, radiant stars. There were angelic hosts that the humans could not see, but I think the sheep could feel their presence. And I could see them. And helped Nathaniel to see them. Such love gathered on that hillside looking down on Bethlehem to welcome this child, who was never a child. He came in infant form. He was love incarnate. But I want you to recognize that you are also love incarnate. The real difference between you is that even at his birth, he knew what he was, although in your terms, he could not articulate it. You forget who you are. You are born with some karma. And he was born, I will not say free of karma, but with very little unwholesome karma. And so he remembered who he was. I will be interested, Yeshua, when you incorporate, for you to tell us what you were able to recognize or remember of that day of your birth. So I want to emphasize here that we, all of us, me, you, Yeshua, all of us, are in some ways witness to this ongoing birth of light into the earth. And as I invited Nathaniel to come in as my child, so you're invited to come in as children of light and love, and to grow up to support that love and light in the world as best you can, to the degree that you are able, and with no sense of failure, that it is not perfect, but rather knowing that it is perfect, even where it does not seem to be. You are holders of light, children of light, of the essence of light. People ask me, or ask Aaron more specifically, and I hear it through him, if we have succeeded in planting a light into the earth, why is there such destruction, such hatred, such wars? The essence of light has been planted. If you plant a seed, you must nurture that seed. This seed is unique. It will not die. It cannot die. But it cannot grow unless it is nurtured. We who planted the seed, we hand you the seed and the sprout and ask you to nurture it. So many of you are doing that. But there are those younger souls in the world who have not learned to nurture the seeds of love and light. They need guidance. They need a model. As Aaron often says, the choice is yours, love or fear. Expressing the love that you are, or becoming lost in fear. So I ask you to let this be your Christmas Day gift to that baby who was born, to nurture the seeds of love that are your essence, and to know how deeply you are loved. I do not speak with your language. I speak with energy, thought blocks. So Aaron has been helping me find appropriate words. I thank you, Aaron. And I'm going to release the body now and invite Yeshua to come. I am one who shall remain nameless, simply known as expression of love and light. And I cherish you all.
Yeshua will speak. My beloved ones, my friends, my fellow Christs, you have heard the term the cosmic Christ. Each of us belongs to the cosmic Christ. each of you individuated Christs who now in this incarnation are expressing in a unique way, in a way in which you are choosing because you have chosen to come now. Many of you have been here before, of course, on other planes. And we are all doing this work together to help bring this earth plane through this transition to a higher frequency, a higher density, a higher level of consciousness. And you have heard me say before how each of you are precious and each of you are needed. As the one who was Nathaniel's father spoke, that being chose to come into the earth plane just for that time. Many of you were there as well, although perhaps not in that location. You have come again now at this time of transition to bring the love and light of the Christ energy. And I have been asked, what did I remember as an infant laying there without capacity for language or even much capacity for what you would think of as analytical thinking? But I remember being immersed in the energy of the singing of the stars, the singing of the planets, the singing of the cosmos. The whole cosmos sings with joy, with energy, with the love of creativity, which is ever unfolding, it never ends. And every breath that each of you take, every choice you make, contributes to that song. And so I remember floating in those energies, so beautiful. They are beyond words. And yet each of you can learn to float in those energies as well, to find your home in those energies, to find your source of nurturing, your connect back to your love and your compassion and your optimism when times are hard. And I'm going to pass this on in a moment, but I wish to say, we are all the Christ. I will never stop saying that. I know that the history and the culture places certain individuals on a pedestal, if you will, because history has taken those lives and made them more available, and all history is distorted. But right now, there are so many Christs that are invisible, that don't walk with 2 legs and 2 arms on your planet. And you may also communicate with those, but that is for a further conversation. So I am Yeshua. I love you. I will pass this conversation on. I will stay in the body for now. My love to you.
My blessings and love to you. Once again, I am Aaron. As Yeshua just reminded us, each of us is the Christ, the awakened. It's within, it is your essence and your birthright. We have the opportunity that we are reminded of each year at Christmas to consider our own birth as the Christ child, or as the Buddha, if you prefer. To remember your awakened light body essence, the essence of the physical, emotional, mental, and spirit bodies, which is the divine presence, the divine light. And to choose. And I can think of no better time than Christmas to make the inner statement, I consecrate the deepest truth that I am to the light, to service to the light, to living that light. And I make the free will choice to release all the doubts and fears, all the self-negativity. As you birth the beloved child this Christmas, can you consciously make the decision to offer everything that is not, that you do not hold as beautiful, to release it? I don't see anything that's not beautiful in you, but you do. So stop holding on to. Stop being self-identified with the doubts, with the selfishness, with the fear. Remember, on this Christmas Eve, you as the light, each of you and the light itself is taking further birth and is grounding itself further into the world. People have been coming to me these past 2 months saying, what will we do? How will we deal with so much negativity? If you are entering the darkness, just hold your candle. Be the candle. Be the light that you wish to see. Be the love. That's all you need to do. There is nothing special that you need to add, because this is your essence. This is who and what you are. You already are the light. If I put heavy black robes over so that you could barely see my face, could not see my hands or body, and you said, Aaron, we cannot see you, let me peel off what is superfluous so that I'm there and radiant. I understand it's not easy, because we pull on all of those heavy robes, heavy draperies, because of the idea that we need them to protect us. Armor for our fear and our grief and our confusion. But through the armor, you cannot feel the light coming into you and supporting you, and you cannot express your own light out. You are the light. That first Christmas, the birth of the so-called Christ child, and throughout the world, the birth of other such children, awakened children. It gave us the power to remember, each being, who you are, to remember your divinity and the power of your love, and repeatedly to make the affirmation, I choose to be that love. And when you fall short because of fear, jealousy, greed, pride, whatever, because these come up, just to hold yourself in your heart and come back to your intention yet again. Each being, as it opens itself to the commitment to live the light and love that it is, brings in more of that light and love and grounds it into the earth, makes it available to those who are still lost in darkness. We just keep going, holding this intention. I pass this to Yeshua or whoever wishes to speak next. I am Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm Yeshua. I have stayed in the body. There are others that wish to speak at some point. I very much appreciate the imagery that Aaron used of the cloaking, the garments, the armoring. It is natural for the human to create, wear, use armoring. We're thinking of an analogy of a suit of armor or clothing, but really they are simply means of protection. And as you grow from a child, just think of this incarnation. You may have certain clear memories of things that have happened to you that where you have said, this is not safe. I need this cloak. I need this suit of armor. I need these spikes. I need whatever you need. And then you integrate that into your, I will say, your personality, but I do not mean your essence of self, but the self that you create to navigate through this lifetime based on the experiences that you've had. Yet none of those things are who you truly are. Even if one of your cloaks may be the cloak of fame, if you happen to be famous or wealthy or beautiful or things that the world honors, or even the cloaks of unworthiness, feeling of ugliness. And I don't mean a physical deformity, but that you are somehow not beautiful in your essence, not desirable, not lovable. But none of these things are who you are. As we are speaking, you are the Christ. How do you access that Christ when the world bombards you constantly with reasons to put on more armor? This is coming back to your true nature. And while there are many ways that you can do that, today I will just offer to remind yourself that in your essence, you are not only the Christ, but think of the Christ child in the manger. You have seen this depicted in so many ways. You, in your essence, are that innocent babe. You are the one that vibrates with the singing of the cosmos. You are the one that delights in every breeze that goes by and everything that you touch and everything you hear. So many of you have lost your sense of being alive. And there's no judgment in this. This world is hard. But before I pass this on, I would say, as you leave today, think of the things that you can see that you have armored with, not for judgment, just to see them. And then to think of that Christmas that's been so historically elaborated on, but think of the birth of who you think of as Yeshua, then think of your own birth. In what ways can you tune into that essence of innocence, of hope, of vibrant energy? That is still there. It is not lost. It is hard to touch into. And yet ask yourself, what do I naturally love? What draws me? What opens my heart? Is it music? Is it cooking? Is it sewing? Is it gardening? Is it reading? It doesn't matter what it is. And find time to do that. Find time to dance with the desires of your heart, however you choose. I will pass this on. I will stay in the body for the moment. You can go back to that innocent one, that innocent Christ child that you are. I am Yeshua.
Aaron. Thank you, Yeshua. I have remained in the body. I want to remind us of a time you were with me in the fields. You were very young, and I think you had never before seen a swarm of bees. You were sitting near the sheep. I'm not sure what drew them in that moment, but a large swarm of bees approached us and were flying around us. You were afraid. I asked you, Yeshua, can you just sit still and feel their light and energy? It was easy for me because my father had taught me this. But thus far, you had not had the opportunity to learn. And bees have a high vibration. But you needed to feel safe to allow that high vibration. So I invited you to sit on my lap. I wrapped my arms around you and said, it's okay. If they land on us, we are safe. Your face lit up in a few minutes. Both of us had bees on our hands and our face. Nothing stinging us. They were singing to us and we were singing to them. Filled with their love. It seemed to transform you. I don't want to put words or thoughts in your heart and mouth. At that point, we did not speak deeply of it. But is there something you would like to share about that experience?
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, I remember that so well. And that when the swarm was approaching us, there was some of a contraction there for me as Yeshua in this young child who was still growing into the world and experiencing things and had not experienced that. But as the bees approached, it is as you were saying, Aaron, Nathaniel, at that time, they were singing to us. Their buzzing, their activity was not intent to harm. And I remember as I was sitting there with you, being held close and comforted, that I was able to open beyond guarding and fear to sing with the bees. I will say that I was not singing physically, but energetically, I was singing with the bees, as you all can do with bees or the wind or the rain or the water. And that was one of the first experiences within that human lifetime of learning, was that one can dance, can sing, can move with what presents and does not have to withdraw. Had we both withdrawn in fear, the bees may have stung us because they would be responding to the energy of fear, the pheromone of fear, if you will. Aaron, I pass this back to you. I'm Yeshua.
Thank you, Yeshua. I am Aaron. So then we fast forward many years. Our situations reversed as we walked through the hills and there was a leper colony that was crying. A child being born, a woman in childbirth having difficulty. And I knew they were lepers. And I, as Nathaniel, was afraid. You didn't speak to me of that experience with the bees of many years past. You didn't force me to walk with you. You said it's fine to wait here in the valley if you need to. But I came up into the hills with you to where the woman was giving birth, to where the leper colony was. You said to me, try to hear the cries that you hear as the singing of bees. It was the perfect word because it brought that earlier occasion back to me and reminded me, yes, I have the capacity to be present with fear and not move into patterns and expressions of fear. And then you helped her give birth. I pass it to you. I am Aaron.
Thank you, my beloved friend. And we shared so many other experiences together as well throughout that lifetime. And yet I learned something very beautiful from my friend Nathaniel, who was just a few years older than me. Nathaniel had a capacity that even when under stress, under fear, whether with the sheep in the dark on a hill during a storm or other kinds of experiences, even as we walked together as adults, where we met robbers or bandits on the road, where we met lepers and many other wild animals and so many other experiences. But even in stress or in fear, Nathaniel had a capacity to center and ground within that place, and within that centering to be able to make choice on how to respond. And this truly is a key thing for all of you to develop, is when under stress, when under fear, when facing uncertainty, not to push it away as if it doesn't exist, not to judge yourself because you feel uncertainty or fear or panic or anger, whatever it is. But you can center yourself in this grounded place. You may wish to call it the Christ place, the place of love, your innate God, goddess spirit. You may come with your own language about that. And as a child, before we were both in the adult stages, there were times when I was uncertain or afraid. And Aaron, Nathaniel, may have been also concerned, but he would center himself in this place, and I would sense it, and I would move in energetically, and in that way was comforted, and in that way we both were able to find a way to move forward. And he taught me this. Others taught as well, but he was also my teacher, even as a teenager. I pass this back to you, my beloved friend. I am Yeshua.
I thank you, my friend. Yes, I knew how to find the center. I learned the capacity from my father, who was deeply grounded in these great wisdom and light teachings, who had had some human lifetimes, but was not so much human as light, a great master. But no, I could not do this all the time. I would watch my father and see how easily he could open into the true essence of being and not be disturbed by the outer volatility of the world. And it frustrated me because I was so imperfect at it. The important thing is not that we do it perfectly, but that we do it. That we simply offer the commitment to keep trying, to keep our hearts open, to stay aware and awake to the degree that we are able, to watch any negative thought or energy arise, watch self-identification with that arise, and watch that spark that says, no, right now, I'm just going to stay centered in the light as much as I can. Herein we give birth to the Christ child over and over, by remembering the light that each is and moving into that light repeatedly. And this is our answer to the negativity in the world and in the universe. works. It's really just no. I'm staying here no matter what you do. No. But that no is said with a love and with compassion for the human experience, the human predicament, I would really say. The predicament of knowing yourself as awakened light, and at the same time being subjected to everything about the physical, mental, and emotional bodies, the arisings of uncomfortable experience, and the willingness and commitment not to get caught or to get a little less caught than you got the last time. This is how we say no to that which is more negatively polarized. No, we are light, and no matter what you put on us, we hold this light as answer. And we wish you well. We offer you the light again and again, and we hold ourselves in the light. And this is what Yeshua became such a master of, and I am so grateful to him. I pass the microphone on. I am out.
Thank you, my brother Aaron. So going back to the imagery of the Christ child, the babe in the manger, if you will, you have heard the term to be born again. It is used in different spiritual contexts, but I don't mean to use it in any particular context in a religious way. But I offer it to you as you go through this season of light, this time of the year when your society offers the New Year's resolutions, this time of being starting again, starting over again, being born again. One truly is born again in every second, although you truly exist outside of time. But if you think of human time, I prefer to think of with every breath, you can be born again. And so, who do you want to be? When you think of being born again, what would you release? What would you invite? And perhaps in your meditations, it is useful to go into that grounded place. Hold yourself as a little babe in your heart as you see pictures of me or others, little babes in mangers. Your heart is your manger, your cradle. Hold yourself in your heart. Look at this innocent babe, knowing this is your true essence. The things that you have accumulated are like algae that accumulates on something that's been in the water. As you walk through this incarnation, you accumulate these things. None of them are who you are, not a single one of them. As Aaron has said probably a million times, they arise from the conditions of living and they will pass away. So what would it be like every morning to center in yourself and to invite yourself to be born again? And as that days goes through, when things are impinging on you, to breathe and center and release and be born again. You can do it with every breath. And in this way, you learn to love yourself, to release those things that you hold against yourself. You have heard me say in other of our classes and workshops that if you do not love yourself, if that separation is in your own heart towards your true essence, your true self, then how may you truly love others, truly love and embrace the creation? It may seem that you can, but if there is separation in your own heart towards yourself, that can be released. I am not going to use the word healed or fixed or forgiven or no, with a breath. Release it and invite your essence. Get in an argument with somebody over politics 2 hours later. Breathe, release it, and come back to your innocent, pure essence of love and light. I will pause here and turn this back to my friend. I am Yeshua.
So tonight we celebrate the birth of this holy child as Yeshua, as me, as you, as the children that just climbed on Barbara's lap, as the cat who I think has lifted the dog who's lying on the floor behind us. That holy essence, that light is in everything. I see I think you call it stink bug, crawling across the screen here. It also contains the light. Please invite your reflections as you take a little time to remember the true meaning of Christmas. Invite the reflection, allowing yourself to know and trust, despite all the voices of fear and negativity that do come up, to know I am light, I am love. And ask yourself, as your gift to this child that is you, the stink bug, the dog, Yeshua, everyone, the gift, I hold you in my heart. If you speak hurtful things, I say no to them. But I do not say no with malice. I say no with compassion. May the gift grow in you this year to learn the power of compassion, to say yes with joy, and also to say no clearly, to appropriate boundaries without the arising of contraction. That is a sublime gift, to be able to say no without contraction, to say no from the awakened essence of your being, and to say yes from that essence. And this is something I learned so much from Yeshua. And thank him for his friendship and for the beautiful teacher that he was. I pass this back to you, Yeshua.
Thank you, my friend. And I know it is probably time for us to wrap up and to go back to your life, your celebrations, whatever it is you are doing. You cannot not be light. You cannot not be love. You cannot not be the Christ and the cosmic Christ. You simply forget and you put on a cloak. Take it off. Go wild. Dance. Have fun. When you express joy, even in the midst of sorrow and stress and grief, you light the fire. You light the fire that can infuse you in your energy field and help you to shine as the light you are. So I will leave you with this, my friends. I love each of you dearly. You know me, I know you. We are here because we've come together now here to help the earth remember and those upon her remember, and to move in to a higher vibration of love and light. I will leave the body. I am Yeshua. I love you all.
Yeshua. Yeshua. I will also leave the body now and leave you to your celebrations. Celebrate the love. I wish you all the joy and the love of this world of light, denial of the darkness. But let us remember and hold the light in our hearts. I love you all. I am Aaron. Thank you, everybody, for being with us tonight.
Yeah.
Wishing you a beautiful Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, a beautiful 2025, beautiful Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Celebrating the light. Love to you all.